All right, I know most people hear the word budget and automatically they think about the iron fist coming and oppressing every single part of your life. But what if I were to tell you that a budget is actually the means to have everything that you want in your life? What's going on, my beautiful people? My name is Mark Beneke, a proud member of the Westland Auto family, and in today's video we're going to be briefly covering what a budget is, how to make one, and some best practices to make sure that you can maintain it. Now before you start asking about how a car dealership has any business talking about a budget, who the f*** are you? I'm going to go ahead and just answer it for you. We've seen firsthand with thousands of clients over the last 2 decades how much a budget truly impacts whether somebody is going to have a good financial situation or really rocky credit. We started showing our members how to make a budget, and we quickly realized that the ones that took it seriously seemed to always come well ahead of the curve. Not only did they make it successfully through our program, but they saw steady increases in their credit and their overall financial situation. We know it works, especially with individuals with rocky credit or lower incomes. First off, it's extremely important to know what a budget is and what it's not. Without knowing that, you're setting yourself up to very quickly fail. A budget is not that iron fist. If you go into it thinking that your life is going to be torture or a boring mess the moment that you have a budget, don't even try. You are not ready yet. It's not a temporary commitment. It's not only for people that are very good at math. It's not a luxury that's only available for the wealthy. And it's not only to save for something specific. A budget is the foundation for financial stability and healthy credit. It's the means for every single income level to not have to live paycheck to paycheck. A quick note here, I am very serious about this. Most people assume that only the lower income bracket lives paycheck to paycheck. That is the furthest thing from the truth. I know people that earn well over 6 figures and at the end of the month have nothing to show for it in their bank account. And it's not because they're investing it. A budget forces you to look at the truths that you've been avoiding. What are you looking at, ass? So that you can figure out where the mistakes are coming from. This might be a little bit of a tough example, but when an addict goes to rehab, the very first thing that they have to do is admit that they're an addict. Because they accept that there's a problem, that means they can open themselves up to solutions. There's no problem, what is there to solve, right? Not a smart man. So think of yourself as a spending addict, and the budget is your meeting that allows you to figure out where all of your dealers are. Bad example, I know. But because a budget is a foundation, it's not something that could just be done temporarily. It has to be a lifestyle change. And I'll show you why that's actually a great thing in a second. It's similar to a diet. The people that end up following it as, well, as soon as I lose 15 pounds, I'll be set, they always seem to rebound. And the ones that change their eating habits and just eat controlled portions of all of the things that they already enjoy always seem to have long-lasting results. Notice how I said controlled amounts of the things that they like? That's what I meant by the lifestyle change is so great. Not only does a budget force you to look at the problem, but it also forces you to think about what you truly value in life. That's the difference. When you analyze your expenses, you'll start spotting trends, a lot of which you probably were not even aware of. The ones you like, you keep. You just adjust accordingly. Tighter. The ones you don't, remove them. This allows you to live your life exactly how you want without wasting your time, energy, money, or anything on the things that are not important to you. For example, I don't drink, so it's not in my budget whatsoever. However, I love to play video games. You fucking nerd. So I make sure to allocate a little bit towards new video games and new computer parts. With your nerd hair. My brother, on the other hand, doesn't play, but he does like having a beer or two. Whoa. His budget shows no trace whatsoever of video games, but it does have a section for having a beer or two. We adjust our budget tighten based off of the things that we care about. A budget can truly give you the means to have the life that you want, which brings us to All right, now let me walk you through how to make a budget. Step 1, your income. Let's figure out how much money is truly coming in. This means taking a look at your pay stubs for at least the last 3 months, but I would highly recommend that you look at the last year. Don't look at your gross pay either. You want to find the section that says net. This means after taxes and all of their deductions. That is the true amount you're taking home. Also, make sure to note down any other income you have, like SSI, or if you walk dogs, or you rent out a room, anything additional. If you're including someone else in the budget, then make sure to add theirs as well. However, do not include bonuses or tax refunds or anything that is not 100% secure. You can add it into a side column as a best case scenario, but it's nothing that you should ever depend on. Number 2, your expenses. Here's the moment of truth, the most crucial step. If you have a bank account and you spend from there, then take a look at the last 3 months worth of expenses. But again, preferably a year. Write down everything that you've been spending on, or use a spreadsheet like Google Sheets and just classify everything on there. And I mean every single expense. From the grande caramel macchiato with extra almond milk and extra caramel, to the delivery services, to also the drinks that you toss back with some of your colleagues after work. Everything. We're gonna classify them into 2 categories: fixed and irregular. Everything that is a mandatory expense like rent, utilities, car, taxes, insurance, or other loans are gonna be in the fixed expense category. They are non-negotiables. There's no way around them. If you don't end up paying them, there are irreparable consequences.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
The next one will be irregular expenses, which will include things like fast food, the gym, entertainment, anything like that. Anything that is technically not needed.
You little dumbass, I ain't with you.
Now, we're gonna analyze. Take your income and subtract all of your expenses. How much are you left with? If you're me, you probably realize that you're in the negative, right? But that's not the case anymore. Let me show you how. Now that you see where your money is going, I want you to ask yourself, what do I really care about?
Hookers and cocaine.
If you realize that you absolutely love that macchiato, then keep it in. But take a look at that delivery service. How do you feel about that? Swipe. Get that shit out. You enjoy getting drinks with the colleagues, but not every night. And you really don't need to get new clothes or new makeup every single month, do you?
I think it looks great.
But you do love the gym, you love movies, and you love fast food. Just not in excess.
Bitch, I don't know your life.
So let's adjust.
Tighter.
With all of that unnecessary shit out of the way, we can adjust and recalculate until we find ourselves in the positive enough so that we can create a savings. And with saving in mind, you should create a goal for yourself. Trust me, it'll help and feel amazing when you actually hit it. Which brings us to point number 4, accountability. Once your budget is in place, it's time to make things a habit. At least once a month, you need to reanalyze all of your expenses. By the way, apps like Mint, Personal Capital, YNAB are really good at being able to track all of your expenses. I personally don't use cash. Instead, I end up using my credit card as a debit card, so it allows me to be able to quickly see all of my expenses in a report, and I don't need to keep track of all of my receipts. I do this alongside a spreadsheet that I'm including in the description below in case you'd like it as well. I personally lose cash really easily. However, I do know that most people respond better to cash. If you find that you respond better to cash and are able to earmark it and make sure not to spend it, go with that. If you prefer not having cash at all because you know you'll end up losing it like me, then don't. Find what works for you. Another note, if you go over a month, don't sweat it. It's not the end of the world. Trust me. Congratulate yourself for even being aware of it and then just adjust accordingly for the next month. At first, making a budget will feel like a massive nuisance that just takes forever, and it's just because you have not gotten used to it yet. After a few times of doing it, you're not even gonna think about it anymore. It takes the wife and I about maybe 10 to 15 minutes to just review it really quickly and adjust. We do that once a month. That's it. With 29,203.2 waking minutes available to you on average, pretty sure 15 minutes is not gonna kill you.
15 minutes could kill you.
Especially if it means getting back a lot more time and happiness in the future. Now, let's figure out how to maintain a budget. The last step that I talked about was technically supposed to be in this section, but I don't think that a budget is complete without accountability. So this will be more of the best practices that I suggest. Number 1, communication and support. This is crucial. It's very important that you surround yourself with people that are going to support you and encourage you throughout the entire process. If you don't communicate with loved ones prior to starting, they're going to assume that somehow it's personal against them. They will not understand what you're doing because they've probably never done it themselves. Honestly, this is because most people are extremely selfish and self-centered. So they don't think about you or what you're trying to accomplish. They just think about what they are going through. Going back to the rehab example, if you try to do it without letting everybody around you know, chances are you're just gonna get sucked right back in. Imagine the difference between going to a family get-together where every single person there is trying to force you to drink because they want you to be the life of the party versus the ones that already understand that this is what you're trying to go through and instead encourage you and keep you on the path. The same exact thing applies to a budget. If they don't understand, they're going to push back. So instead, help them understand why it's important to you and ask that they help you. Number 2, Accountability partner. This is huge too. Sometimes it's easy to let ourselves down, but to let someone else down, when you have to answer to someone else why something was not done, the guilt and shame sets in. Obviously, not the guilt and shame that will just destroy you internally.
You are tearing me apart!
But instead, the good kind, the one that will get you to act. Asking someone to meet you on the scheduled days that you have to analyze your budget will do just that. This will make massive strides towards staying on the path. Number 3, weekly analysis. Remember how I said at least monthly?
No!
Well, when you first do it, I would highly encourage you to instead do it weekly. What you want is to quickly build up the habit of analyzing and spotting bad trends. By doing it weekly, you're reducing the amount of time that you would take to spot bad trends and to course correct. It's also developing the analysis part very fast and allowing the habit to be built up. It can now become part of your routine. In fact, the wife and I still do it weekly, and it only takes us about 3 to 5 minutes. And this next part will make it totally worth it. Number 4, reward yourself. At the end of your weekly analysis, reward yourself. Seriously. It doesn't matter what it is. Oh, okay. As long as it doesn't obviously push you over the budget. Just make sure that you feel great afterwards. Our reward, we enjoy a pizza while we're doing it. We love pizza. And by being able to relate the two things together, we now love budgeting too. Number 5, goals. Finally, you want a surefire way to stay on track? Remind yourself constantly of why you're doing it. If there's a specific thing you want to buy, then write it down and constantly look at it to remind yourself. If you want to be completely debt-free, then write it down and also write down the little mini goals that will lead to the bigger picture.
All right, get the off my phone.
You want to get $100,000 in your investment account? Slap it in. The key is knowing what the goal is and being able to constantly remember it. A budget will act kind of like your GPS. It'll redirect you towards the path that you're wanting to go. You'll also start to notice that all of those emergencies that pop up into your life will very quickly become, well, not emergencies anymore.
What the f are you talking about?
Because how can something be emergent when you were already expecting it to come? You may not know when it comes, but you know it will. So when it does, you have a very clear game plan on how to tackle it. All of us here at Westland have seen how destructive not getting in control of your finances and your credit is to your life. We feel it's our duty to try to help anyone who is ready for our help. So I really do hope that this information is useful to you and makes a positive impact in your life. And on that note, I could use your help as well. It's something very small that could have a massive impact in someone else's life. If you're in the Fresno area and happen to know somebody who could use our services, all I ask is that you let them know about us. Not only would you personally be rewarded for it, but you'd also be helping somebody better their family's lives. You can find more information about our referral partner program in the description below. And if you're not in the Fresno area, then all I ask is that you be kind to someone, anyone today. Something as simple as holding a door open for a stranger or saying good morning to one. Little things like that can go a very long way. Thanks. I know this video has been a little bit longer than the rest of them, and it's because I did not want to leave anything on the table. But it does lead directly into something that could really help you out alongside this. And that is the best practices that we have found all of our most successful members share. And yes, that's regardless of whether you've purchased a vehicle with us or not. So in order to learn all of the best practices to build great habits around credit and finances, check out this video right here. Thanks, and I will see you there. Okay, bye!